So thank you all. Really do appreciate the opportunity to close us out here. We're almost there. I promise I will be brief. I'm not one for cliches, but I have been reminded more than one time this week that I am the last person on stage before happy hour. So I will be brief. That said, I do want to touch on a few of the different topics that we've heard about today and a few of the things that we're going to hear about tomorrow. And again, brevity is key here. I get it. Before I jump in, I do want to reiterate what Jeremy said this morning and thank our clients for being here. Without you, this isn't possible. Another point we'd like to make is we have over 200 partners and technology vendors. And I think we spend quite a bit of time vetting them, doing RFPs, investing time and effort in selecting the best of breed technologies for you all. And for us, of course, to be excellent for you. We've got the best representation, we believe, of the sponsors that are here today. So thank you again to the sponsors. Really do appreciate it. Gerd this morning talked about this is the most transformational time in human history. I don't think anybody are going to argue with Gerd what he's talking about there. If you haven't taken a look at his video on YouTube, for his new book, Humanity versus Technology. It's 5 minutes. I highly suggest you watch it. I mean, I'm really into this stuff. I usually go on and on about autonomous vehicles and mixed reality and all that good stuff, but sticking to brevity, I won't. But it really gives me goosebumps. It makes me excited about everything that we do and where we're headed from a technology perspective, but without losing sight, as he stated, with regards to humanity. It touches us all. It affects us all. It affects all of the brands that are in this room. I couldn't think of a better brand that represents transformation right now than our customer Intel. Over the last couple of weeks and over the next couple of months, we're going to be working with them on transformation and the journey that they're undergoing. I've worked with them for over a decade. From a Forbes ranking perspective, they're the 6th most valuable brand in the world. Now, their aspirations are very bold. Intel wants to power the world. That's literally what they have on their website, and that's their mantra. And with the things they're doing with regards to the IoT or Internet of Things and data, I think they're well on their way, but that is the transformation they're going through right now. From a PC ingredient components brand to a data organization. So something that affects everyone, all of our clients, even the biggest brands in the world. We, as Dan and iProspect, have been going through a transformation over the last couple of years. You've probably heard more than once, we're committed to being a fully digital economy organization, and the aspiration was 2020. I think we're getting there quite a bit faster. I think our commitment to data and technology and machine learning through our acquisition of M1 and that platform that we're leveraging, and you've only heard once or twice about today and probably will only hear once or twice about tomorrow, is that commitment. And I really think it shows that our commitment in investing in technology and data will get us to where we need to be as we transform as an organization. I can tell you we will not become complacent here. We will continue to invest in these areas to keep us as an agency ahead of the curve, and obviously for you as brands ahead of the curve. You just heard, and I don't want to rehash too much, but transforming how we manage the different media channels. We've always believed that we should be using a performance lens to manage all media, and that convergence of brand and performance coming together is the catalyst of that. And our work and announcement at CES this year launching performance video in conjunction with YouTube and Google that Jeremy and Tara just talked about, I think really underpins the evolution of what we're seeing within our space and where we're headed as a brand as well. We heard this morning from Gerd and others around the transformation of how people are discovering content. Jeremy Hull talked about voice search, and that's been something we've talked about quite a bit over the last 2 years. I'm still a firm believer that visual search and image recognition is the next horizon. I think it will have a massive impact. talking about, some people say there's 1 trillion objects out there, but how do we index 1 trillion objects? How do we make sense of 1 trillion objects? Everybody's looking at this. Everybody's investing in this area. And when I say everybody, I literally mean anyone and everybody. The screenshot here is of an app called SmartLens. It's a new visual image recognition software or app that you can download on your phone, and you literally don't have to have connectivity to the internet to use it. And a high schooler created it. Now, high schooler, that's obviously making some strides here, is in good company. We just heard about, or last year we talked about Pinterest and Lens and what they were doing with visual discovery. We just heard about our work with General Motors there as well. They're getting great traction. Target just launched Pinterest visual search tool on their website. Google just announced that they've just made the biggest updates to their visual search capabilities in their tools. And Facebook, Jeremy touched on this earlier, I think they're sitting on a treasure trove of information with Instagram and the billions of images that are tagged with hashtags that is powering their machine and their visual search machine and AI. So they're using that information to learn essentially what's next in this area. And again, visual discovery, I really do believe is the horizon here. Another organization that's going through a great transformation, and we're going to hear about tomorrow from our sponsors at Oath and our partners at Oath, is Home Depot. They're literally hiring over 1,000 people and investing over $11 billion because they understand they're sitting on quite a bit of data. In fact, 1.7 trillion data points weekly they're gathering. And it's, somebody talked about it earlier, the retail, the brick and mortar experience. They're collecting a lot of that data in store, and they're investing in the technology in order to collect that data in store, whether it's people moving throughout the store, talking to the representatives within the store, and this is across 90 million different households. So you think, how could you possibly make sense of that? How could you possibly leverage that data using human beings? You can't. And that's why tomorrow we're going to hear about AI, machine learning, something that has been touched on once or twice today, but we're going to hear from Microsoft, our partner, and what they're doing, not just in search, because we've heard from them in the past with Cortana and personal assistants what they're doing, but what they're doing in all things artificial intelligence. We're then going to hear about the evolution of data, from cookies and keywords to targeting individuals or people-based marketing. You've heard about it once or twice today. I don't see massive issues with this specific example that everybody keeps bringing up today with Facebook because we haven't seen the backlash from the users. They haven't fled Facebook. We talked about that earlier. In fact, they want or are open to Facebook leveraging the data for a better user experience. And I can't call out one of our biggest partners and single them out with Facebook. And really, it's because of the timeliness of this other piece that came out on Sunday. I'm not sure many people saw it because if you were traveling or maybe in the bar here at the hotel, but I saw a piece, a 60 minutes piece, and just a part of it, but I saw the commercial for it. And it was so timely, and because Dave Tan recently just left me alone on the Sempo board from Google, Dave, thanks. I had to call this out. It's just too perfect for our event and everything that we're talking about. So the video is going to play right away. Pay attention. Here we go.
You think Google's a monopoly?
Oh, yes, of course, Google's a monopoly. In fact, they're a monopoly in several markets. They're a monopoly in search. They're a monopoly in search advertising.
They know who you are, where you are, what you just bought, what you might want to buy. And so if I'm an advertiser and I say, I want 24-year-old women in Nashville, Tennessee, who drive trucks and drink bourbon, I can do that on Google.
Now, I'm sure Dave and Michael and Tara would have preferred I used the House of Card example that is very similar that I've used in the past. But to me, this isn't news to anybody in this room. Yes, it's news to the folks watching 60 Minutes en masse, and they know it's going to drive a pretty big audience, and it's top of mind. with the Cambridge Analytica stuff with Facebook. But to me, this is what's the exciting thing in our industry. This is what's moving us forward with such velocity. This is what's going to really transform how we do marketing moving forward. And I really do believe, outside of some of the stuff that was just touched on with YouTube and brand control and things of that effect, Google's done a really good job of managing the data and managing the targeting and sometimes limiting our capabilities there. But as they start to learn and put the checks and balances in place, like with our M1 solution, et cetera, we're doing great things here. So tomorrow before the Insight Labs, the last thing we're going to hear about is the future of social media. Brittany, our social media guru, and Facebook are going to make some predictions as to what is next within social media. And then there's one last topic that we wanted to touch on before we break here. And it's a topic that gets asked of us within the RFP process. It gets asked of us within the pitch process quite often. But it's one that doesn't a lot of times come back up, and we don't really put a lot of PR behind it. But with everybody in the room here, it's so important to us, and we know it's so important to you, that we wanted to talk to you and just highlight our corporate social responsibility initiative. We formalized iCare last year, which is our CSR framework. And within the last 12 months, we're so happy to announce that we've donated over $50,000. We've donated over 1,000 hours of our time, and we've impacted 5,000 lives with our initiative. So I think that that's something that doesn't get talked about enough, and we know is super important to everybody in the room. Okay. With that said, thank you. The bar is open.